stuff, feel free to invite them into this today.
Great.
Yay.
Awesome. Okay, we are live streaming now, at least in one spot. Yay. I'm going to turn myself off. Do you love that?
Your double voice. I'm so excited.
It's always like delayed, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Welcome, Ethan. Super excited. We're going to get started, you guys, in about 6 minutes. So if you are watching, I see some people hopping on Facebook live stream. If you are watching on Facebook and you want to come hang out with us here on Zoom, I am going to, actually Blair is going to drop the link below and you can join us here on Zoom. You will want to do that because there'll be an opportunity to ask questions at the end. But if you can't join, if you're just popping in earbuds, like stay and hang out while you are cooking dinner, while you are doing things around your house. I promise you, Chelsea Joe, our good friend, who I'm super excited, is going to blow your mind with some of the things she's going to share. Why do I know this? Because she has blown my mind and really helped me with so many different things. And if you know me in just the wee little bit, you know that I have always felt that I am pretty productive, that I have a lot of things balancing, but I have learned so much from Chelsea and just her expertise in really managing home and business. So that's what we're talking about tonight. Join us here on Zoom, and then you can always tag some friends below in the Facebook. We're going to be streaming in 3 different Facebook locations tonight. So Chelsea, are you super pumped?
I'm super pumped, and I do want you to come over because I'm already chatting with people over inside of the chat, inside of the Zoom room. But no matter where you're hanging out with us tonight, whatever group you're in, make sure that you're in the chat, because after I go through this presentation, you're going to have a bunch of questions and I am going to circle back and answer every single one of them. So if you can only watch a little bit, drop your questions in and I will come back later. If you are catching this replay, drop your questions in just like you would be if you were live. I want to know what you do. What are you juggling? What do you do from home? What kind of work are you involved in? What is your business? I want to know all about it. I'm really looking forward to getting started. I get really pumped up about this stuff, you guys. This is like my heart and soul. And I'm so excited that Kelly has been just like all the way in this for a while now. And she's really, really pumped to share it with you too. So
yes,
awesome.
I'm so excited. I'm super thrilled tonight, you guys. So definitely share in the chat, whether you're watching on Facebook or you're here in the Zoom, share a little bit about what you do, because I think it is so helpful as we are learning from Chelsea J tonight. I think it is so helpful for her to know exactly who she is, who's listening, you know, any sort of questions that you have. Welcome, Tina. Good to see you guys. Say hello and tag some people on the Facebook. Those of you who are on Facebook streaming, tag some people. I'm only seeing one stream. I'm going to get, once we get started, I'm going to be able to monitor a few, but I know Blair is on there as well. So you guys, we're so excited. Tag some people, invite some people into this. This is just complete free information that you guys are going to be a sponge. Grab your notebooks. That's another thing. If you do not have something to take notes on, I promise you, you're going to want to take some notes. There'll be, you know, several golden nuggets to walk away with tonight. So we're going to get started in about 3 minutes. Anything else that you should prepare for, Chelsea, before we get started?
I would definitely say that I was going to follow up and tell you, make sure that you do have your notes. I am absolutely going to be giving you some practical information. So for those of you guys that don't know me, I host a podcast, and the biggest thing that everyone always says is that this is like actual practical information where I can take these steps and I can put them into my life. And that's what you're going to get today. So make sure that you have your pen and paper available if you're here and you're really wanting to get those takeaways and put this stuff into your life right now. So other than that, just have a good time. That's what we're looking forward to.
Yes, I'm so thrilled. So hi, Ashley. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Tina. Great to see you guys. Those of you watching Facebook Live, say hello, drop in the chat. We are we're excited to just get started. We're going to get started in about 2 minutes. So drop in the chat in anything that what you do. Drop in the chat if you haven't already, what you do. Hi, Renee. I see you on Facebook Live. Drop in the chat and let us know what you do. That way Chelsea knows exactly who is watching. I will tell you, there are so many, like I have so many things that I already want to say have implemented that I have implemented, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait because I know it's like, I get too excited. I'm like the kid the night before Christmas, you know? So Blair's over there laughing because she's like, yes, I know.
We'll get to talk all about it after we go through all of the teaching, right? You get to share everything that you've been doing once we put it all out.
Yes, yes. And you guys, if you are only able to stay for a portion, just know that there will be a replay. So if something, you know, we understand everybody is busy, or if you're listening to this and you're like, oh my gosh, such and such and such and such is in your life and they really need to hear this. They need, you know, really how to manage business and home, and you know that they'll get some golden nuggets. Just reach out to us. We will have a replay of this. I will tell you that you're probably going to want to listen to it again. I know some of the podcasts I've listened to with Chelsea, I listen and then I re-listen again and make sure I take notes so I can figure out what I want to implement. So just know that that replay will be available for you and for others. And I'm excited. We've got right at 8 o'clock. So we're going to get this party started. My name is Kelly Hoover. Blair is here with me. Chelsea Joe is here. And I will just tell you guys, I want to introduce Chelsea. And it started out, Chelsea and I met at, it's funny because I'm like, I'm not exactly 100% sure where we made the connection, but we made the connection on Instagram and really just following each other. We have a clarity coach, Stephanie Gass, who is amazing, who really sort of connected us. And we originally got connected in that way. And I love this because when you go through that, you can see when I met Chelsea, I was like, she is so clearly visioned for what she is getting ready to share tonight. And I know by interviewing her that there wasn't a light bulb moment. But when I look at her and I see how she has impacted my productivity and my ability to be able to manage home and business, I'm like, I see like the light bulb and just how she was so fit for this. So I just want to say thank you for coming on and just sharing this workshop tonight with so many people. We're just so excited. And I feel so blessed that we have the opportunity for you to pour into so many amazing people. So I'll turn it over to you. Thank you for being here.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So you guys will have to admit people as they come in. I won't be able to do that once I share. And let's go ahead and get started. Okay, we are officially here and we are going to be talking about how to successfully manage your home and your business without feeling pulled in all directions, because a lot of you that are watching probably already are successfully managing your home and business, but it doesn't feel so successful because you feel pulled in all directions. So that is exactly what we're going to talk about today, is how to make sure that that doesn't happen anymore. This workshop is for you if you are a work from home mom who wants to have enough time in your day and in your week to do your very best work in every area of your life. You are in the right place if you're trying to run a successful business but can't find the time to make it happen. If your thoughts and your time are always divided and you constantly feel pulled in multiple directions at the same time. And if you miss being intentional with your family and pouring into your home, but you feel like you can't stop long enough to do anything about it. For those of you that are major action takers, you're super excited about this and you're really ready to get this under control. I have a master scheduling system for the work from home mom, and I'm going to show that to you at the very, very end. It's a copy and paste set of my entire scheduling system for my business, my motherhood, my home, my marriage. That's a little bit of a picture of what it looks like. It's everything down to the detail, mapped out, my weekly schedule, my daily routines, my cleaning schedule. If you are interested in it and you're excited about it, you want to sneak peek at it, I suggest you stick around and also drop it inside of the chat wherever you are if you are excited about it with any kind of like high five or thumb up emoji, whatever you got going on over there is fine. Before we get into this, we're going to have a contest. And the contest is going to win you a Target shopping spree with Joanna Gaines. I'm absolutely in love and obsessed with Joanna. People tell me I look like her all the time. My name is Chelsea Joe. Her name is Joanna Gaines. There's just some weird things about it. I'm like, I just needs to meet her in person. But here's the contest. I also love Target, like a lot. And if you win the contest that we're going to have, you're going to win an all expenses paid trip to Target. Not really, but let's just say that that is what's going to happen if you win this contest. And to play along, we're going to have a few moms join in with us. This is Wing It Wendy. Oh, let me just tell you that the way that you're going to win the contest is if you show up consistently in every area of your life for 6 weeks. And we're really going to drive this home right now. What does this look like to show up consistently in every area of your life for 2 weeks? If you can do that, then you can be the winner of this contest. Here's a few moms that are going to play with us. First is Wendy. I like to call her Wing It Wendy, okay? Week 1, she starts out in this competition and she is super iffy, but she's hopeful that she might be able to win because she loves Joanna Gaines just like me. Then she hits the ground running with really good intentions and she feels super excited. She's like at the top of her game. But by week 3, she's figured she could wing it and she's super overwhelmed. By week 4, she's at an all-time low. One of her kids got sick. She has no systems to fall back on. She spent 0 time on herself or her business, and she really is not sure how she's ever going to get out of this lowly place, let alone ever gets to a spot in her life where she can be consistent for 6 weeks over and over and over again. By week 5, her kids are better, but she's super behind and she's frustrated trying to play catch up. And by week 6, she's just realized that she's stuck in this cycle over and over and over again, riding out the calm before the next storm. This is Kelly. I like to call her Confident Kelly, kind of like the Kelly that's here with us today, just spelled a little differently. Confident Kelly has plans in place and she's feeling on week 1 confident on how to move forward in this competition. Week 2, she uses systems to be able to gain more time back in her day and start gaining momentum. And if you look at where Wing It Wendy was, she's nowhere near at the all-time high, but she's growing slowly but surely. By week 3, she's spending more time with her family and her to-do list is getting shorter and not longer. By week 4, she wastes 0 time trying to figure out what's for dinner. The whole family keeps a tidy house and she's really feeling like she might have a good chance at winning this thing. Some weeks she even gets to take time off of work and have a self-care day and a date night with her husband. By week 6, she's showing up confidently without feeling pulled in all directions, consistently in every area of her life. Her house is running on autopilot and she's showing up consistently for the very first time. Now, who do you think won this competition? Wing It Wendy or Confident Kelly? What approach would you take to be able to win that competition? I am Chelsea Joe and I take all of the Wing It Wendy's of the world and I turn them into Confident Kellys. And that is what I do. This is what you're about to learn. And here's how it all went down for me. I was super tired of living in a messy house, putting off my children, feeling down about how I was trying to manage all of this with my husband while pretending that I could run a successful business just to end up defeated day after day after day. So by the nature of who I am, this is what I did. I birthed this 4-tier success formula is what I like to call it, with this big fancy birthday cake. No, it didn't really go down like that. How it went down is I started creating systems to be able to communicate with my little itty bitty kiddos, and systems to be able to get me to the gym regularly, to be able to take care of myself so I could take care of my kids. A meal planning system so I could outsource foods to my family and them cook instead of me cooking all the time so everyone knows what's for dinner. Communication systems for me and the kiddos. Systems inside of my work to be able to have a workflow so I knew what I was doing in my business every day. Systems for my wardrobe so I wasn't spending so much time on laundry. I literally started creating systems for everything because that is the way that God made my brain. I couldn't help it. It just started happening. A system for how I was going to hand clothes down from big sister to little sister, and chore systems for my kiddos. Time management so I could juggle all of these things. I created a 5-block system for how to manage your time as a work from home mom. I was creating massive efficiency in my home and motherhood and business and marriage with systems, which allowed me to have so much more time in my day, stop multitasking, stop dropping the ball. But most importantly, I was able to like being a mom again. and be playful with my husband on a regular basis. Plus, take care of myself every single day. And finally, run a successful business. I had designed my ideal work from home life, which allowed me to ditch the wing it Wendy approach for good. So I could finally do my very best work in every area of my life. So do you want to ditch the wing it Wendy approach too? Tell us in the chats. Let us know. Where are you at on this scale? Are you wing it Wendy every day? Are you wing it Wendy sometimes? Are you super confident Kelly? If you are, what are you doing that's making you feel like confident Kelly? If you are wing it Wendy, why? What's happening? We're going to break it all down together right now. This is where you're going to want to get out your pen and paper, because we're going to talk about the 3 most common mistakes I see work from home moms making right now that is derailing their success in home and motherhood. The first is being disorganized with absolutely no plans in place. Here's what happens. We run around in a mad dash all day, believing that there is no time to slow down and create an effective and efficient strategy, which makes sense. Taking time to stop and create a plan only puts us further behind in our super chaotic minds, right? It's this classic, I got to slow down to speed up. But what you have to know is that if you want the madness to stop, you have to stop the madness. Like, you have to be the ones to do it. If the goal is to get to the end of a day and a week, managing all of these things well, your home, your motherhood, your business, and your marriage, you've got 2 ways to go about it. The first is with no plan in place, and the trajectory of your life ends up looking like this. You're inside, outside, upside down, like that amazing Dr. Seuss book that I read to my kids all the time. Pretty sure it's Dr. Seuss. Might be Berenstain Bears. I'm not sure. But you end up tracing over yourself, turning in circles, losing things. You're all over the place versus having a plan in place where you get there much more effectively and efficiently. You see, I'm coming at this. If you look at the trajectory of having plans in place as a mom, as a work from home mom that's juggling all of the things, as someone that is an entrepreneur, that is not a straight line, and it's not intended to be. I understand what it feels like to have so much inconsistency with the world that kids and running a business provide. But having a plan in place allows you to not have to go back to the grocery store multiple times in a week, try and figure out where the soccer cleats are for the soccer game, where are the goggles for swim practice, where's the chapter book for the book report. You don't have to do that anymore. You also don't have to squeeze work in from your cell phone while you're trying to cook dinner. When you have plans in place, you can take one trip to the grocery store, or you can just order them and somebody can send them to your house. That's a cool new thing that you can do, right? You can have all your kids' backpacks ready to go in their zones, and they know exactly what's to do when it's time to get up and go to school. They grab their bags, you pop the lunchbox in, and you're out the door, right? Or lunch money's already pre-stocked. They have everything that they need ready to go. And you have designated work hours that are done by 4 o'clock every single day. You close your laptop, you shut down your computer, you leave your office, you go work with your kids in your home, and you connect with your family. Instead of spending time tracing over your own footsteps and picking up drop balls, you could be making major headway by having an effective plan in place. Here's how you're going to create an effective plan. Like, this is literally what I do. Write it down right now. The first thing is I want you to have a Google or electronic calendar, whatever one you use. Most of the time it's going to be a Google Calendar. Even if you use your iPhone and your iCalendar, likely you have your Gmail account connected to that. That's why I call it a Google Calendar, right? Before Monday starts, before your week starts, I want you to have all of your appointments secured in there. Everywhere that you need to be, your kids need to be, your dogs need to be, your husband needs to be inside of your electronic calendar before you start your week, every single time. Okay. Number 2, I want you to secure a time each week for preparing food, cleaning, working, playing, rejuvenating. These are your core needs, your fundamental needs. So right underneath number 2, I want you to put an asterisk or a star and say, these are my fundamental needs, because we're going to talk about that later on. But those also need to be inside of your electronic calendar. They also are going to go in your paper planner, which we're going to talk about in a little bit too. Number 3 is make sure your house is tidy and organized before you start work for the week, whether that be Monday or Tuesday, whatever day of the week you start work on, make sure your house is tidy. Your house literally has a voice, and it calls you, and it will make you think that you are not supposed to sit down and focus on your work. It will make you think that you have to go do dishes, that you have to fold laundry. You need to make sure that you're pouring into your home when you're not working, so those things don't get mixed up together. Fourth thing is know what hours you're going to be focusing on your business and put them in your calendar. Do you know how many hours a week you are working on your business? Is that a yes or a no in the chat? Do you know how many hours a week you have to work every single week to make your business completely successful? Do you know the minimum number of hours to be able to get through the week? Is it 10? Is it 20? I bet you feel like it's 40, but I can promise you it's not as much as 20. You need to know that number, and you need to know where those hours are going to come from. You need to have that mapped out before you start the week every single week. Number 5, update all necessary communication with your family members. Once you've got steps 1 through 4 done, then it's time for you to sit down and have a little community meeting with your family. Everyone needs to talk to each other about the expectations for the week. You need to hear from your children. You need to hear from your husband. Your husband needs to hear from you, and your kids need to hear from you. You need to communicate about what the week is going to look like. Here is what my husband said to me while we were dating, and I was like, we are getting married. Not really, but I thought it. He said, fail to plan, plan to fail. And I'm going to say this again. If you fail to plan, if you don't put plans in place, then you're planning on failing, at least to some extent. And it holds true every single time. Playing whack-a-mole with your time, which is the number one limited resource that you have, it's the reason why you are drowning right now. This is the name of that game. It's called whack-a-mole. That is what you're doing with your time. You're putting out fires left and right. That is how you are navigating life. You're spinning your wheels every day trying to meet the demands of everyone else as they pop up, instead of having clear expectations on how you plan to run the show. All of your time is being sucked away right out from underneath you. And if you don't know the drill, they're not going to know it either. All right, here is the second mistake that I want you to write down. So jump to another piece of paper or the next segment of your paper, because we're going to dive into this. I'm super passionate about this. The number 2, also one of the biggest mistakes. These are not in any like order. They're all extremely important, all 3 of them. But taking care of yourself last is a huge problem. Women have been taught to believe that caring for others before they care for themselves is inherently good, and focusing on their own needs is selfish. And it deems them a lesser mother or a lesser wife or a lesser friend or a lesser community member. They have to pour out to everyone else, and they should put themselves on the back burner. You're choosing to believe that by putting yourself after everyone else, that you're doing more for your children, you're doing more for your husband, and that is how it should be. But it's completely inaccurate. It is 100% false. And I really want you to ask yourself right now, is there any percentage of you that feels that way? Do you do that with your family? Do you do that in your home? I want you to really stop and look at the screen. This is such an important depiction of what this looks like. If it's your job to keep each of these pillars in your life running at their optimal level, right? This is your goal. Your home, your motherhood, your business, your marriage. You want to pour into these things full battery packs. And this is what you should be doing. This is what you should feel like. You should have all of the energy in the world to be pouring into them. But oftentimes, this is how you end up approaching all of it. Your energy is fragmented. Your mind is distracted. Your heart is disconnected. You don't know how to show up. And so you're constantly looking at which energy storage is about to drop into the red, which one's closer to green. I'm going to pull from that one. I'm going to give all of my time to my marriage because it's really been in the red. That one's good. And then alarms start going off. And now you're looking over here and you're like, this one's almost in the red. Now you spend all of your time over here in your house and you're like, yeah, I feel really good with my house. And then your kids are in complete shambles. You haven't spent any time with them. They're nagging you. And that is the whack-a-mole game that you play. Oftentimes it ends up showing up like this in our lives. Our work starts screaming at us. We start having different battles within our marriage, with our kids. Our house starts building up and backing up, and we feel like we're drowning in all of these things. And we end up looking like little Susie Q over here in the corner that just is not all that happy about her life. And she doesn't feel all that great about anything that she's doing. I really truly believe that self-care is a term that was created to bring awareness and validation to the dire need that women have to be given permission to take care of themselves. Self-care is not a word that has been around forever. This is a new term, and there's a reason why it was created. My approach is, what if self-care Sunday happened every single day? What if self-care wasn't a word, but it just was the way that we lived our lives? What if we chose to take care of ourselves every day? When you have a system for how to make your needs happen consistently, serving others and growing a business becomes easy and stress-free. Here's how you start prioritizing you. I'm not going to tell you what you think. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to go through these 4 steps. Earlier, whenever I talked about putting a little star next to step number 2 for mistake number 1, I talked about your core needs, your fundamental needs, and this is what true sustainable self-care looks like in your life. I want you to sit down and inventory your current emotional buckets. What are emotional buckets? Emotional buckets are every compartment of who you are. Not just your home, your business, your marriage, and your motherhood. Yes, those are your emotional buckets. But what about financially? What about spiritually? What about your body? How do you feel physically? Do you have health issues going on? Where are you in every aspect of your life? Determine what's working and what's not working in every single one of those buckets. From that, when you see what's not working with my children is, I'm constantly frustrated. I'm really frustrated with my kids, or I feel like I'm not spending any time with them. That's not working. I don't feel like I am truly living up to the mom that I dreamed to be. That's a problem. How do you take care of yourself as a mother? How do you do that? Well, what's not working? Why is that not working? Ask yourself hard questions and write it down. From that, what do you do about it? Create a list of non-negotiable tasks that support every one of those emotional buckets. How do you go from feeling really discouraged or just kind of like meh to feeling encouraged in this area? What's one thing you can do? Can you put your phone down for 20 minutes and pour into your kids? Can you make eye contact with them 3 times today? Can you touch them when you're talking to them? What do you need to do in every single area? Every single area, just one thing, and I want you to write them down. Make a list of somewhere between 6 to 10 tasks that are specific to pulling yourself up in every single one of those areas. And I want you to prioritize these as non-negotiable. This is what sustainable self-care is. This is part of your weekly planning. I have a set of what we call our great 8 because we have 8 of them. They're listed right here. My husband and I came up with them together. And we do them every single week. They go in my paper planner and they go inside of my Google Calendar. This could not be more important. You're here listening to this for a reason. And what I want you to know is that you will never be called to do your highest work in marriage, motherhood, business, or anything that you set out to do if you have yet to find a way to prioritize the foundation of who you are. And I'm going to say this again because it is vital for you to understand that this is not something that I believe, this is fact. If you do not prioritize the foundation of who you are, you cannot show up and do your highest work. It will not be possible. It just can't happen. And if you feel really serious about doing your very best work, you have to stop making this classic mistake that nearly all women make. Understanding that you're the number one asset is key here. If you want to start showing up and doing your very best work in every area of your life, then you have to start putting yourself first. All right, let's move into mistake number 3. This is where it gets really practical, super sticky, and really fun. Remember, if you have questions, drop them in the chat. We will get them answered for you. When I'm done, I'll circle back. We'll hash out any questions that you have on any of this, whether you're watching it live or you're catching the replay. I want to know all about it. The third mistake is that you're using schedule-based time management instead of building a framework. What in the world does that mean? Let's get into it. I want you to tell me in the chat if any part of what I'm about to go over resonates with you. Do you experience a typical day of these types of things happening? You wake up to kids in your face. You are laying down and kids are there. You make breakfast, you slap a peanut butter and jelly together, you grab an apple, you grab a string cheese, or maybe a yogurt and a tube stick. And while you're replying to a business email, right? This is how your morning's going. You clean up breakfast, you're combing kids' hair, you're trying to help them get ready for school while you're thinking, oh my gosh, that kid looks really good. I should take a picture and post it on my social because I don't really have a plan for what I'm going to post today. That sounds like a great idea. You reheat your coffee for the third time and you're like, oh my gosh, you guys, I actually have to drop the kids off inside the school. Like, I have to get out and I have to drop them off today. I forgot I had this thing, so I got to find my bra. Kids in the car, I got to go find it. I'll be right there. So as you're searching, you forget where you put your coffee down. Then you got to go looking for your coffee. This is what you do. And you're starving. The kids left the toast on the table. You grab the toast and you're in the car and you're like, we got out the door on time. We're only missing a water bottle and a chapter book. We are good. Today is fantastic because look at my calendar. We got to school drop off on time. Nobody got a tardy pass. We're awesome. But you absolutely feel like a chicken with its head cut off. And you're asking yourself, if this is the way that I have created success, why do I constantly feel like I'm running around with a chicken with its head cut off? Do you experience this? Is this what you do? Here's what's happening. When your brain knows that there's a lot of things to get done, you tell yourself that there's no time to stop and you must do more. You have to keep going. You have to keep working because there's so much to do. This is all happening because of the way that you're managing your time right now. Managing your time based on where you're supposed to be leaves massive gaps in your day. So this is time-based scheduling. Look, you have to drop kids off at school. You have a Zoom meeting at noon. Your husband has a work meeting at 2:15, and then you have swim practice at 4:30. What are you doing from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m.? What are you doing from 9 to noon? What are you doing from 5:30 to 8? Do you have any idea what you're doing during that time? Or are you just basing everything off of, well, I've got these gaps and I'll do all the things then? When you have those gaps in your day, you're consistently misusing that time because you have no idea what you're doing with it. You probably don't even know when it's coming and when it's going, right? And it's always leaving you feeling extra behind and in a rush. You can get more done in a day than you normally do in a week if you start doing the things that I'm telling you right now. And I'm not joking. Like, it's been proven over and over and over again just by changing the way that you manage your time. I want to ask you this right now. If you could have a solid 5, 10, 15 hours of uninterrupted work for your business every single week, and the rest of the time was for cleaning, cooking, playing with your kids, your self-care, your date night, all of that happened outside of your work and you weren't mixing them, how would you feel? The truth is that this is completely possible. Here's the one shift that you have to make. You got to start using my hybrid system. It has absolutely changed my life. Hundreds of women, almost 1,000 women at this point have been using this, and it has completely changed their life. We're going to talk about exactly what it looks like right now, but here's the crux of the whole thing. You have a paper planner and you have an electronic calendar, or what I call your Google Calendar. Your paper planner tells you what you're supposed to be doing, and your electronic calendar tells you where you're supposed to be. So what goes inside of your paper planner? Look, you've probably tried paper planners before and you're like, they don't work for me, or you have everything in your paper planner. You have to use the hybrid system and then it works. It works so beautifully. Everything that goes inside of your paper planner is listed right here on the screen. First are your fundamental needs. We just went through all of that, okay? That is the list of non-negotiables that you're gonna create. You'll see that here in this picture. Everything that's orange, those are my fundamental needs. They're blocked off. Nothing gets in the way of those things. Those things are vital. That's how I pour into me first so that I can show up my very best and serve my little heart out every single minute outside of that time. And some of that time is me doing things for other people, is me serving, but it allows me to feel like I got this. Okay. The next are your 5 time blocks, not written here on the screen, but I'm gonna tell you right now what the 5 time block system is. First is your morning routine block. This is what happens before your kids wake up, before your day starts, before you're on demand, before you look at your emails. That's your morning routine block. Next is your AM block. If you're a homeschooling mom, this is when you do all your homeschool. If your kids go to school, this is the time that from the time kids wake up until kids go to school, right? If you don't have kids and you're just working a job, this is what happens before you leave and you go to work. Then the third one is your work block. This is when you sit down to do your work, okay? The next one is your PM block. From the time you are back on demand as a mom, kids are home, all of that starts, or you get off of work, that's your PM block, and it goes all the way until kids go to bed, until you stop for the end of the day, and then you go into your nighttime routine block, which is when all electronics are off, you're completely unplugged. You give yourself anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour to just be in the still, just be in the quiet, to do some nighttime routine things. All 5 of those blocks you can see here inside of my paper planner, and that is what I put in my paper planner every single time. Inside of my blocks, I write my routines. I tell myself routinely, what am I doing inside of that block? What about what goes inside of your electronic calendar? Your fundamental needs. Wait, didn't you just tell me I was supposed to put that on my paper planner? You're gonna make me do it twice? I am. You know why? Because it's non-negotiable. This is not something you can play with, and I'm so serious about it. The next is any commitments, any appointments, anywhere someone's supposed to be needs to be in that Google Calendar. Any important reminders, need to pull meat out of the fridge for tomorrow so you don't have to Grubhub. Put it inside of your electronic calendar with a reminder, and anywhere you're supposed to be needs to be inside there. If you have a Zoom call, if you're supposed to volunteer at your kid's school, if you're supposed to show up for a meeting, whatever it is, it needs to be inside of your electronic calendar. No more gaps in your day, just a solid framework that supports what you're doing. Do you want to do your very best work in every area of your life without feeling pulled in all directions? I need a yes. I need a no. Somebody needs to tell me right now, how are you feeling about all of this? The only system that you need to succeed in home and business, how do you put all this together, is exactly what I created. That's what I'm here to tell you about. It's the 4-tier success formula. These are the systems that I put in place to make all of this happen over and over and over again. And we are going to talk all about every single one of these: how I systemize my productivity and motherhood, how I systemize my biz, how I systemize my home, and how I systemized my marriage to make all of this work for me. All right, here's what this comes down to. Systemizing your productivity, it's a problem when you don't prioritize yourself. And we've touched on this, but what I want to talk about now is what happens when we don't do that. You suffer from chronic burnout and resentment. I just talked to a mom the other day that was like feeling major resentment and major burnout. And all I was thinking is like, she's got to learn how to prioritize herself. Being a good mom at the cost of your own mental, emotional, and physical health is the definition of the mom you are trying everything not to become, but you're still just doing it every day. Here's what happens when you spend any length of time neglecting your own needs, or AKA doing what you can just to get by. You end up feeling like this lady that's either about to drown or be taken out by a bunch of sharks, or that gnarly storm that looks like is about to take her out too. Or you start drowning yourself in coping mechanisms like coffee and all other kinds of things. And then you send out a major SOS because you're done. Like you can't, you're at your wit's end. You have met your maximum capacity. And for us as women juggling all the things, sometimes our SOS looks like us losing our temper on our kids when we don't want to, or doing way too much shopping to try and make ourselves feel better, or eating all the things that make us feel better but don't really make us feel better, or living in a house that's in complete clutter and disarray, operating in silos from our husbands, because we've reached this breaking point and we throw up the white flag that says, I call a mommy timeout. I get to have a self-care day because I have had enough. And then we start feeling this entitlement, right? Which comes after the bitterness and the resentment. That is not sustainable. And it's not the way that you want to live. It's why motherhood mindset is so important. You can try and search mindset everywhere, but what you have to do is train your brain to have successful thought patterns, not positive ones, successful ones. What does success look like when you have kids, when you're working from home, when you're running your own business, when you have a husband that may or may not understand what you do, when you're working against so many years of culture that looks nothing like what we do now? It's so important. And then there's time blocking, right? You've got to be able to understand how to take all of that and manage your time with it, intentionally managing your time with all of those responsibilities in mind, and have systems that, or the system, right, of your fundamental needs that prioritize those core needs, which we've already talked about, and make sure that those are met on a regular basis. This is exactly what I did in order to get through that bogged down feeling of not being able to produce in my life. This is Nikki, and she says, Chelsea Joe and her systems in the academy have helped me find my confidence as a mom and an entrepreneur. Now I prioritize myself first after years of feeling like a hot mess and giving all of her energies to others, which I love sharing with people so that you know that this is super real. Now let's talk about your business. Cool, got everything prioritized in my house. And I was like, okay, now when I sit down to my business, I know that I have 4 hours, but what in the world am I doing right now? Well, not having any plans for your business leads to wasted time and procrastination, which is exactly what I experienced. And I was like, we need some systems in place around here, because without it, it leads to frustration and defeat, and even worse, a failed business, which no one wants to invest in a business with their time, with their heart, with their finances, and it not succeed. So here's what has to happen. It is so hard for people to stop and say, I have an addiction to social media, but I'm telling you right now, you're addicted to your phone. I'm addicted to my phone. Don't run from it. Like it is what it is. Check your screen time usage when you get done watching this. It's going to gross you out. If you don't have a major grasp on it, you're probably spending multiple hours a day. Multiple hours a day. Do you know what you could be doing with that time? Do you have a plan for your social media management so you don't end up looking like these moms? It is a horrible, gut-wrenching feeling. If we could have pictures of the way that we talk to our kids with our phone in our face and we say, yeah, just a minute, and our kids are learning that that is what motherhood looks like, you don't want that, and neither do I. And that's why it is so important to be able to stop the addiction to social media and know how you're going to manage that platform. It's also absolutely vital to be able to know, what am I even working towards? Create actionable goals for a specific season in your life. You don't have to hustle hard like Annie over there. She's in a different season of her life. Where are you? You've got to know how to make all of your goals actionable and attainable for where you are right now. And the day-to-day in your business that you're drowning in, that you have no idea what to do with, well, you create a workflow. Daily, weekly, and monthly rinse and repeat tasks. And also, I have this beautiful workflow suite. Kelly's going to talk to you all about it very, very, very soon. Very soon. But really, you just sit down and create a workflow suite for yourself. You get all of your tasks mapped out. You do your batching, your time blocking. You have a workflow and you make sure it's aligned with your goals. This is the most incredible thing that I ever learned how to do, so that I could sit down with 2 hours of work and hammer out what I normally would have taken a week to be able to do. Getting work done in your business without having to think about it is totally possible. And like I just said, it can take you hours to do something that used to take you an entire week. There's workflows specific to the work that you do. Very, very specific workflows to the work that you do, all completely built out for you. You just have to know how to put them in place. Imagine it like this. You show up to your morning routine completely distraction free, and then you pour into your motherhood and your home, and that's set. And then you have a scheduled block of work. Remember that third block that I told you inside of the 5-block system? This is when you sit down, you open up your workflow, and it tells you, okay, this is what I'm doing on Monday. It's Monday at 2 o'clock. That's when my work block is scheduled. I'm doing these 4 tasks. Then I'm closing my computer and I'm going back to the rest of my life. And that is all I have to think about. That's it. It really is that simple. That is what my life looks like now. This is Heather. She is one of the top ranking gals inside of her network marketing company, and she has been able to do this in her life. Kelly also has been able to do this in her life, and it is such a beautiful thing. She also now, after having major tragedy in her life, which was followed by so much anxiety, was able to get back in and reestablish things and kick off everything all over again. And that's the beauty of having a workflow. Stephanie says the same thing, that she used to be working from deadline to deadline and prayed for one good day a week in order to get things accomplished. But after having the tools and systems that I am teaching all of you, she's been able to completely kick that. She also just had twins, and that's a completely new season of her life. And we're working together for her to be able to figure out, what does a workflow look like right now in her life with 5 kiddos, brand new preemie twins. And I'm here to be able to help you do the same thing. All right, here's the third part. As a work from home mom, how to successfully manage home and business that you really need to start systemizing. Your home. House chores, tidying everything, not leaving your makeup out, not leaving your curling irons out, not having laundry on the floor, making sure the toilets are clean, the showers are clean, your kids' bedrooms are clean. Like, doing all of that by yourself is nearly impossible. And you might not even be doing it because you don't know how to do it, let alone trying to Marie Kondo fold all of your clothes, which I will tell you, it actually doesn't take that much time to be able to do it. And once I started doing it, I'm not telling you you have to do this, but once I started putting systems in place in my home, everything else started taking a fraction of time. Now it's like whip, 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 and my kids dress themselves. Like, they know how to pick clothes out and everyone knows how to fold the clothes. And it's just such a beautiful thing to be able to put systems in place in my home. The chores and the cleaning, I've established a super simple 1 to 2 hour a week plan for deep cleaning my home with zone cleaning. And this is what allows me literally to deep clean my house. We've not had to hire a house cleaner. We've thought about it, we've wanted to, but we haven't needed to because of this zone cleaning system. Also, are you drowning in clutter? Do you have stuff everywhere? I did. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get rid of these things. Like, I can't constantly be trying to figure out how to put stuff away. I need to be working instead. And so I use the escape methods to be able to escape my clutter and live mess free with just one super simple system. And now I don't have to worry about keeping my house tidy anymore. It's just a really quick, tidy sweep at the end of every day, and everything goes back to where it belongs. This is my husband, Blaine. I love this slide so much. This is also a picture of my meal planning system. Nothing fancy about it, guys. It is a board with some clips and some index cards. Some of them are printed in a little more fancy because every once in a while I like to feel like Joanna Gaines. But I learned how to feed my family on autopilot with a very, very, very simple menu board meal planning system. Blaine went to the grocery store for me and he got stickered by Bailey May. We shop at Trader Joe's and at Sprouts, and Trader Joe's is our first stop when they give out stickers, and then she puts them all over him. But it's become incredibly easy to outsource cooking, and it's become incredibly easy for me to manage it on my own when I don't have any help. Are you drowning in clutter? Is your house always a mess? I promise you there is a better way. Being busy is not an excuse to live in a messy house. And quite frankly, I can guarantee you that you are staying busy in your business and with your kids and doing all the other things to get out of caring for your home because you don't know how to climb that mountain. With a dedicated set of systems, keeping a tidy house is insanely simple. This is Adelia. I'm actually going to read this one to you because it lights me up. It's only Monday and I've already got sensory triggers done. Work emails and tasks are completely caught up. Meds are actually taken today and I have 40 ounces of water down already. Dinners are planned. Grocery shopping is done. The downstairs is even fairly decent. Would not have happened before the academy. You truly do have a gift and I'm so thankful you have chosen to share it with the world. So that's it, right? Close up shop. Those are the only systems we need? No. You've got to tackle what's happening in your marriage if you really do want to succeed. Nobody teaches this, you guys. Nobody. And it is worth sticking around to listen to because it is vital for your success. Women struggle to communicate their needs and ask for help. You want to do it all. You don't want to be a burden. You want to make them happy. And you want to always do what a mom and wife is supposed to do, right? You likely weren't taught by your mother how to run a business from home, how to be an entrepreneur. Maybe some, but not many of us did. And you certainly didn't see most moms asking the men around them when you were growing up, hey, can you take care of the kids for me while I go off and chase my dreams? this is what I like, I dream of doing this and I'm going to need your help. Like there just wasn't those kinds of things. We didn't hear those conversations likely. Modern families look very different, and we have to carve a path that leaves a legacy built by us together. You and your husband have to carve that path together. Your potential of you, who you are, who you were created to be as a woman, completely depends on it. Blaine and I created this incredible family legacy system because we believe wholeheartedly that the mission in motherhood is not to become moms and dads. It's not to go out and make money so that we can pay bills. It's not to be ships passing in the wind. Does that happen in our house? Absolutely. But with our family legacy, we were able to connect in a way and have a shared mission for what we were going to be doing in our lives, past the point of raising children and paying bills. We learned how to uncover our strengths together and put that together so that I could be even better in everything that I did, and so could he. And we could really support each other on our journeys independently, as me who I am and for him who he is. We figured out how to communicate with systems inside of our day and our week and our month automatically. Like automated communication between husband and wife is hard to do. I literally got out whiteboards and I was like, let's do this. And he was like, what are you doing? Why are you making me sit down every single Sunday and do this? Like, it was hard, but I was just so adamant about it because I was like, we have to do this. And come to find out, I guess I was just called to teach this and to put this into the world. But when I created it, it was out of dire necessity. I had no other way of sleeping at night. I was like, we've got to figure out how we're going to connect every single day, because without it, weeks go by, months go by, years go by, and we don't even know each other anymore. This is where my brain went, right? I was like, we need a system, because without the system, look at what happens. You want to be that mom, and he's over there being that dad. You're in silos. You're not functioning together. The family that we really want is this family. This is the family where mom and dad use all of their potential, all of their power. Husband and wife, they're a team. They're working together to power into everything that they have jointly combined in their lives. Blaine and I use a marriage retreat. This is where we literally go and create an action plan for getting on the same page for an entire year. We also have a lot of fun when we go on our marriage retreats. Getting a picture of him is not easy. I don't know if your husbands are like that or not. And sometimes it's like, well, this is what we're getting. And it's going into a slideshow that I am presenting to everyone. So next time, just smile pretty, okay? It's really so much fun to start putting systems in your marriage if you have a proven ways to do it. Tell me in the chat deep down if you want to have fun in your marriage, but the busy of kids and jobs and chores and friends and family and dogs and cats and sports and activities and bills and all the things have become a greater priority for both of you. Imagine if you could shoot your husband a text at work and say, hey, kids are literally crazy and I'm gonna need some time. Like, I can't do this anymore. It's today. I'm going to need to take care of the kids. I can't get any work done. When you come home, can you do nighttime routine so that I can finish up some work? And he says, sure. He knows what it means. Like, he totally knows what it means. He knows how to do it. And you're confident because you have set the stage for what these systems look like with everyone. Imagine sitting down every single weekend for 30 minutes with your husband to plan out your week together and mutually plan out date night. You both know what's going in the calendar, good thumbs up. He can support you, you can support him. And even better, what happens if, just if, and I promise you this is for real, you take the day off for mom things and dinner still gets cooked and bills still gets paid and the house is tidy before you go to bed at the end of the day. And you didn't have to do all of it on your own. The only barrier between you and all of that is a simple set of systems for your marriage. This is Susie. She said, I felt scatterbrained as if I was wasting my time on random things. I truly am grateful for you, Chelsea Joe. You've taught me not only how to be flexible in my business, but more importantly, how to be a present mother and wife while being a good CEO. This is Destiny. She runs her own business, and she said she struggled with where to spend her time to be able to have maximum impact for both family and business, which is truly what I wanted and why I did this. And it worked for her too, which is so much fun. She says, I'm amazed at how just after a few short weeks of taking your course, I've been able to structure my days and weeks to meet the demands of all the things in my life in a really organized way. I find myself getting more done, staying on task, and finding more joy in even the most mundane of tasks. I feel like I've uncovered a treasure. If you take away one thing from today, let it be this. You absolutely can successfully manage your home and business without feeling pulled in all directions. There's no questioning it anymore. You walk away from this, I'm telling you, it's possible. 100% possible. The question is how do you take everything that you've learned and apply this formula to your own motherhood and run a successful business and run a successful home? How do you make that work in your own life? How do you not be wing it Wendy with banking on good intentions and turn into confident Kelly with intentional plans in place and systems to rely on? What I and Kelly and all of us know is you have to stop winging it, right? You have to start creating an intentional plan for success. There's no other way to go about it. So that is why Kelly and Blair asked me to come and bring what I teach the world to you. We have the Systemize Your Life Academy open for all of you guys that are inside of the Blessed Mama Bosses community. If you're connected with Kelly or Blair, the entire program is available to you, and they're giving you $50 off if you use the code Blessed Mama Bosses. I'm going to show you what's inside of the academy, what you get access to if you're like, I don't want to throw spaghetti at the wall and figure out how to do this on my own. I want somebody to just hand it over to me. I want this to work in my life, and I want it to start working right now. First is the entire 4-tier success formula that I just walked you through. You get access to all of the curriculum, the first tier and the second tier, to systemize your productivity, everything to teach you how to time block in your life, all of the mindset in motherhood, how to be able to create successful and sustainable self-care in your life, plus all of those workflows, you're getting them handed over to you, especially if you're in network marketing, which I know so many of you that are connected here with Blessed Mama Bosses are in network marketing. We have workflows that are completely built out for you. Like, it is a beautiful thing. And to be able to get your social media management under control, to be able to automate your tasks and finally have systems in your business so you can spend less time doing all the things that you're taking so much time to do right now. Plus tier 3 and tier 4, full access to all of this information on getting your house decluttered, putting systems in your home so everyone can help you manage the place that everyone lives in. You're not bearing that burden on your own. And then all of the systems for your marriage, for communication, for teamwork, and be able to have fun and enjoy your marriage again. Also, the best part, I mean, I love my curriculum. I love what I teach. It 100% has changed so many women's lives, but the community is where it's at. You get weekly accountability calls. You show up inside of a Zoom room with me right here, and we talk about, what do you have going on in your life? What do you need help with? How do you time block in your life? What time does your AM block start? Like, what do you need help with? What do you need help with to declutter? What systems do you need in your business? We share screens. We do all of it because I want you to get your questions answered in real time. Plus, there's a private Facebook community, which this is where I'm coaching every single day inside of there. It's an exclusive group for members only. I'm giving daily strategy. There's so much advice and friendship inside of the private Facebook community, and I love it. But there's one more. I've designed focus groups that are peer led. So I don't have anything to do with them. It's just a community of other moms that are inside of this program, putting systems in place in their life, doing business, running a home, managing kids. There's women in there that don't have kids, that aren't married, that are in college, but women that have a ton of stuff on their plate. We actually have a dad in there too. They get together inside of these focus groups, and they are either texting with each other, they might meet for co-working hours, but it's completely on them. I've just set up a system in the back end. Of course I did. I literally have a system for everything to where you can connect with all of these other women and get yourself signed up inside of a focus group. Plus, you're going to get the master scheduling system for the work from home mom if you jump in with us between now and Sunday, which I'm super excited about. So if you are super motivated and you want this master scheduling system so you can look globally at every single system that you're about to learn and where I have it plugged in place in my life, I'm going to be able to give that to you. It's just literally a cheat sheet, which I super duper love. So you can completely jump in right now. Kelly and Blair are going to drop the link inside of the chat. You can get started for $87. Let's talk about the pricing. Everything is involved. It is 100% lifetime access. Every time you go through a season of your life, you come back into it, you go through it again, and I'm there to support you. You're running through this with multiple other women, and you can start for $87 a month for 12 months or $947 in full, but you have to use the code Blessed Mama Bosses. It's originally $997 or $97 a month for 12 months, but they're giving you that coupon code to give you that little jump, that little incentive to come in, and do not wait. The question isn't whether this is worth the investment, because I know you're going to have that question. I always had that question before, and I still do before I join programs, right? But what I really want you to think about is if you and your dreams and everything that we talked about, your marriage and your kids, are worth it. How much is your time worth to you? And what about those things that you do dream about that you don't talk about very often? How much are they worth to you? How much more money could you be making in your business and in your job that you're trying to do if you had sufficient time to be able to run it? And how much time would you stop wasting if you actually knew what to start doing tomorrow? One of the moms that she always tells me, she's like, I literally saved $500 in 1 month. She tracked it because she was like so adamant that she would know if this investment was worth it or not, in not going out to eat, because she stuck to the systems in place that she learned in the first month of joining. That is amazing. But what I really want you to know is this is not a course. And so if you're looking for a quick course and you're looking for a quick answer, this is not what this is. This is a lifestyle that gives you structure. It gives you freedom, and it gives you confidence in how to run your home and your business. This is all hands on deck. This is, I want to be successful. I don't want to make excuses. I want to do the work. I want what I know is on the other side of where I'm stuck right now. That is what the Academy gives to you. Okay, so I just want to show you a couple of these things. These are straight out of the private group for people that are involved and are members inside of the Academy. She said, this gave us the easiest day we've had in a very long time. I was able to sit and have a completely uninterrupted work block. So this mom specifically has little kiddos at home, and she was drowning with how to get any work done with kids all the time. And this is what she has to say, which I think is a huge win. I'm not going to read this whole thing to you, but my favorite is, I've literally wanted to cry listening to the modules because it truly felt like God had given you the wisdom for this in order to save my family. And I'll tell you that every time I read that, I get emotional. And when I read it the first time, I did cry, because this is exactly, I want other people to feel this. I want other people to know this is possible. And this mom says, we left our phones at home and everyone loved it. How simple is that? Like, when's the last time everyone in your family left phones at home and went to the park? You had a family fun night where no electronics were involved. Make sure that you grab the link in the comments. This is the back end of what this looks like. You get access to all 4 tiers, full on content and curriculum inside. We're so excited to meet you and join you. We're going to turn it over to questions and answers right now. Ask anything, whatever it is. All questions are totally welcomed.
So I will ask a question that came in one of the chat groups. And I can't remember exactly who asked this, but let's see here. Okay. I struggle with how long certain tasks will take. I usually underestimate how long they will take when I try to block out my time. And I will give you my perspective on this specific, and then I would like, Chelsea to share, because I felt the exact same way. And I will block off an hour to do something and realize it actually takes me 2.5 hours, and mainly because I was back and forth between doing things, right? So going through and figuring out through Chelsea's system about exactly what needs to happen, I timed myself. I know what, and if you follow her system, she goes through all of this, but I know exactly how long things should take me. And if it takes me longer than that, I know I'm distracted. And oftentimes it's distractions. It's the same distractions that I'm allowing myself inside my work block. So I just want to give you a personal testimony that you're not alone. Most of us, it takes us longer, but a lot of times it's because of distraction. So Chelsea, what's your answer to that question?
Yeah, I get this question often because it's where we start, right? And when I first started, I was like, I have no idea how long this is going to take me, but I started collecting data. I started looking at how long does it actually take me to produce a podcast? How long does it actually take me to go through and make sure all my comments are flush inside of my group? Is every customer happy right now? How long does it take? And I put my phone on airplane mode and I sat down and I got rid of my major distractions. And I said, it takes me 30 minutes when I'm serious about this. If it takes me longer than 30 minutes, why? And I'm that serious about it. But when you first start, you're not going to know. Put a number on it. I think it's going to take me an hour. If it takes you longer, oh, well, you apologize to those that are taking care of your children or to your children or your husband that's like, you said you were going to be out here 20 minutes ago. And you say, I'm super sorry. I'm learning. I'm new at this. Like, I'm trying to figure this out. Be patient with me. I know what I did wrong. I actually need an hour and a half for this task. And now I know, thanks for the support, right? And this is what I did in my life to figure out how to systemize this. But that's where you start. You just start with picking an arbitrary number and then you refine it until you have that pretty definitive number. And I always buffer more time than I need. I always buffer more time than I need. So if I have a task that takes me 30 minutes, I might give myself 45, sometimes even an hour, depending on how much bandwidth I need for the task. If it's remedial, I'll give myself a tiny buffer. But if it's like a thing, right? I haven't done it before, or it involves tech, because that is like my worst nightmare. Me and tech are not friends. I know I'm going to get frustrated. I know I'm going to want to pick up my phone because I'm avoiding doing a hard thing. So I give myself a little bit more time. And I hope that answers your question. That was a really long answer.
No, I think it's great. And you guys, you can drop in the chat, and those of you on Facebook, you can drop in the chat any questions. I would like to just give you guys like how this is personally, like some of the real life experiences. I am in the midst of doing this. Okay. I have gone through the task mapping. I have gone through the productivity, creating a workflow. And those of you who know me, and you probably would be like, oh, Kelly, you don't really necessarily need that. Like, you're super organized. You get, I thought I was super efficient until I started learning from Chelsea, and I realized how much time I now have back. So an example of that would be working hours and the ability to not have work nights. Before, I usually always had to do something at night, even if it was 30 minutes, 45 minutes there, because I just didn't get things done most of the time, because I was doing a lot of things that I not efficiently. So the number one thing that has been gifted to me by creating a workflow, knowing exactly what I need to do daily, weekly, and monthly, and having a plan, is I've gotten more time with my family. Like the last 2 weekends, I have truly like done minimum. I haven't done any work tasks. Okay. And normally I worked a lot on the weekends because I was catching up from what I didn't get done during the week. So that has been a complete game changer, and something that I really have wanted for a long time, but I wasn't sure how to get there because the list was so long. Yeah. Another thing that I have to tell you, Chelsea's going to giggle at this because I think I've shared this like 15 times, a lot. I've shared a lot, but it has been it was the very first thing I implemented that Chelsea taught from Systemize Your Life. And that was the bucket list and how to implement that into the week. And so going through that, planning Sundays, implementing the calendar planning, but implementing it into my family life and them knowing and putting it down. Therefore, they're not asking me what's for dinner. They know they have a spot to go look for it. Chelsea's like, yes, you're an A student. She's here. But it's been a game changer. No one asks me what's for dinner anymore. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's, and I always like planned it out, but now we review it. We review it on Sundays, and the bucket list, having everything prioritized with numbers on not just what needs to get done, but the order of importance. has been huge. I find that a lot of those things that have been on my list for a long time are actually like getting done now.
Yeah.
And that has been a huge game changer. And then the last thing I will share with you guys that has been so incredibly impactful for me is knowing exactly what needs to happen. There was a lot of time that I was wasting in business life thinking I needed to do this, this, and this. And I was doing a lot of these things because it's what I thought was generating business, what was generating revenue, what was generating things. And it just wasn't true. So walking through the task mapping and seeing like, these are the things that I want to do. And here's some extras that if I have that extra time in that perfect week, I can go and do that. But I know what are the non-negotiables. I know exactly how long it takes me. And I'm still in the process of working through that. Like I will say this week, I am timing myself how long I spend in Messenger. Chelsea, I will share the number with you at the end of the week. I'll be like, girlfriend, we got to work on that. And I will go into the Facebook group and I'm going to get help on that because it's actually like pretty disgusting how long I spend in there. And I know that I could be more efficient in that. I don't know the answer to that, but I love the fact that I can go into and get, community support and help with that. So those are a few of the things that, I'm still very new into it. I think I've been implementing the strategies for about 2 months now. And it is like what I said with Chelsea, it is something that you do over time. And I have not done the house thing yet. And I'm really afraid of that, but I'm tackling it.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. Blair is probably like, yeah, you need to do that. Kelly, you should have done that first.
No, we're totally getting there. And that's like, I think that's the most beautiful thing that you could express to people is, and that is what I really want people to know about this is often we just kind of want this quick fix, which is why we get into this hustle mentality that we want to do. And even though Kelly, you totally love your family, you totally love your business, you totally love your success in all your areas, what you were doing is you were prioritizing all these things that needed to be done to create success in your business. And then your family went by the wayside, but you just had to work. You just had to work. I'm sorry. You have a completely supportive family. They love you. And there's no hard feelings on anybody's part. But at the end of the day, like there's this little like voice that's like, gosh, I work every weekend. I work every night. And like, sometimes I feel myself thinking like, I don't really want to be working all the time. I want to be with my family, right? And that's that beauty of getting into the lifestyle change that I talked about, where you actually want to make a change. You actually want to put things in order so that you can feel good about what you're doing all the time. And if I do have to work on a weekend, I feel great about it because I don't do it all the time anymore. It's not a big deal. And that happens when you run your own business, but the beauty of it to me, hearing anybody, but, hearing from you specifically is that you care enough to know how much time you're spending in Messenger. And the funny thing about this is that you would have never in a million years thought that you would have cared about that when you first started going through this. You'd have been like, why? I am never clocking myself. But you get addicted to how much time freedom you have when you see, oh my gosh, like I just got an hour back every single day. I just got 5 hours back in my day. Like, where else can I find this? And you start like looking for things to become more efficient at. And it's just a snowball. Like, I love hearing that you're timing yourself and how much time you spend in Messenger because it's a beautiful thing. Like, and I'm so excited to see what's next. It will be your home next because that's what we're jumping into here in a couple weeks. And we're actually doing a really fun, big community what we call the escape method that you saw inside of this workshop. We're doing an escape challenge where together, regardless of where you're at inside of the curriculum, we are all getting together and we are decluttering room by room, one small space. And so Kelly is joining in that because she said she wanted to. So I'm going to make sure that happens. For sure.
Yes, I am. I'm so excited about that. So another question we had come in, someone from Facebook wanted to know, do you work with a lot of blended families where people flip-flop schedules and schedules, maybe different one week versus another week?
Yeah, I am a blended family. My daughter has half time with us and she has half the time with her biological dad. And I created this system that we have right now because of that. So yes, we do that. And my husband is also a firefighter. He works on rotation. Nothing about my life is consistent or the same. And that's why I created this. I created this for the most dynamic life you could possibly imagine. When I first started all of this, I was working my 15-year career as a sign language interpreter. Plus I was running my event-based business. I did floral design and event design for weddings. And I had a newborn baby. I had a daughter with shared parenting time. I had a husband that had just moved here from Ohio that had a real estate business that he did on his days off from when he wasn't firefighting. And that's what I was doing. And then I was like, I'm going to start a blog. Just kidding. I'm going to start a podcast. And I really had to figure out what my priorities were and what I was going to do and how to make it all work because it wasn't working. And this 5-block system for how you manage your time, has literally worked for every single woman that has come into my community, for every single person. My husband does it. Whether or not you have consistency is not a determining factor at all. I've really not seen anyone that this doesn't work for. And it just brings consistency. And that's what I needed. I needed consistency with my crazy schedule, and it worked beautifully for that. So yes, and yes, and yes. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, I am excited. I know that you guys, if you have any other questions after this event is over, please just message Blair or I directly, or Chelsea, or drop them below. We will have a replay. I have gotten 3 separate messages from people on Facebook saying, I missed the beginning. Can I get the replay? So it will be available. We will have that either later tonight or tomorrow. We'll let you know. So just DM one of us and let us know that you want the replay. And then if there's any information that you guys, if you're connected with me and you want any information about any personal testimonies that I have personally worked through, I mean, I'm in the middle of it. And it's just been it's just been a game changer for me. And I have felt like I was really already on top of things. So I can only imagine how much it will change someone who really has 0 systems in their life. And the last thing I will say before tossing it back to you to close us out, Chelsea, is, when I look, I'm sitting here looking right now at my workflows, and to be able to confidently sit down, for example, today, I had a day that did not go as planned at all, right? But I can sit and I can look at my checklist and see what got done, what didn't get done. And that's not only from my daily things, but also the things that need to get done in, this specific week this month. And it really has allowed the opportunity for me to stay organized with so I'm not winging it. I'm definitely not winging it. And when there is something, I know exactly how much time, hey, this is a 45 minutes. This takes me 45 minutes to do. Where can I now position this? Because I lost some time today. And knowing that has been, a game changer. So it doesn't matter where you're at on the spectrum. Chelsea Joe has definitely been an incredible teacher. So I thank you for just helping me so much.
Yeah, I'm grateful to be able to connect with all of the women that are here. You can definitely connect with me outside of this group as well. You can find Systemize Your Life anywhere, the podcast, the Facebook group, to ask me more questions about the program if you need to, because you can't get them answered by Kelly or Blair. If you want to ask specifics about anything, feel free to come into my DMs on Instagram or on Facebook. I'm super open. It's me responding. It's me telling you the answers. I don't have somebody doing that for me. So I am looking forward to you guys taking this and running with it in whatever level, and being able to know that the Academy the enrollment for you guys is the coupon is open through the weekend, but the enrollment process will be there for you whenever you feel like you're ready to jump in and have the same awesome experience that Kelly's been able to have. So thank you guys so much, Kelly and Blair, both of you, for allowing me to be here. For those of you that opted into the Zoom room, thanks for being here and showing me your faces. I love meeting new friends. like meeting you, it's fun. Thank you for being here.
Awesome. Chelsea, we appreciate you so much, you guys. And we look forward to connecting with you all more. Let us know what questions you have, and we'll see you again soon. Y'all have a great night. Bye, guys.
Bye.